Foxfire. So we're going to click on, and as she goes through, I'm just going to talk through it as a kind of a reminder. She's going to go to the patient demographic screen, and she's going to search for the patient who is checking out, who happens to be Jane Foxfire. Now for the optical side of this, she's going to do a step that for front desk and checkout don't necessarily have to do, but she's going to go look for the doctor's RX order. So she's going to go down to the orders red bar on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, and she's looking for a quote. And again, this is optical specific. We're going to jump into the rest of it here in a little while. So go to the quote section. And you are going to see, as soon as it loads here, one quote with today's date of service. And this is the first time she's seeing it on her screen because we did this on mine earlier. So now it just says select a lab. Yep, and I'm just for the sake of practicing, because she just did this morning, I'm going to give her a second to just actually run through the order. Sorry to put you on the spot. You're like on stage to everybody.
Okay, I have my my backups here.
Okay, good. Yep. Good.
There's no backup on there. You got billing CPT. Let's see. Oh. Uh-oh. August matters. Save. Edit it again. Okay, what if it doesn't? Oh, I need to go to procedure. Oh, okay. I'm just going to transition. Uh-oh.
So that one went pretty well. Do you feel pretty good about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. It's just I know I've got to go back and change some things, but yes.
Okay. So yeah, as you're finding things, just definitely make a list, and then you can always, like, are you talking about in Navigator? So when you
Yes.
add charge? Okay, cool. Well, very nicely done. You went through that actually very quickly for it being the first day that you've ever even been introduced to these screens. So super kudos to you for that, because that, I mean, that definitely is something to be proud of. I've done a lot of these, so catching on that quickly is not something I see very often. So very nicely done. Okay, so now that everybody has kind of seen what screens look like, what we're going to talk about is going to be the different types of orders that a patient can have. So to do this part, we go ahead and save this order, and then I'm actually going to shoot so I see Kendall and Jennifer, I see Tammy, and I see Cindy, and I know Tammy's out. Who is logged into the computer who's going to be doing most of the checkout?
Katrina.
Ashley and Carrie.
Is that under the
Katrina.
Tammy one?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I'm actually going to make you guys the presenter, and we're going to pick on you guys for a little while.
Sure.
Perfect. So we'll go ahead and get Foxfire opened up.
What icon do we click on?
You're going to get into Foxfire PM. So it should be that little red computer at the very bottom of your screen. Yep, the Microsoft Remote Desktop, and then that should pull up the Foxfire PM and IMD EMR option. Perfect. And then we'll go ahead and get you logged in.
Whatever you.
Yes.
No, it's your own password.
I don't have a password yet.
Do you have a password?
So the username, just make sure there's not a slash in it.
Know that?
Yeah, there's no slash there. It's just your his initials and your initials.
There you go. And then if you've never logged in before, then it's password 1 with a capital P and the number 1. If you've logged in before, then it's whatever password you changed it to.
Yeah, we couldn't get mine to change the other day, remember?
Okay. So it's password 1, yeah, with a capital P and the number 1.
Katrina, have you logged in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you putting, okay.
I'm trying both 1 and 2, but
It's not working.
it's not working.
Okay. Go ahead and double click on it, and when you enter your password, hit that little I icon so we can see how it's being entered. And then if it's still not working, I can reset it for you.
Okay.
You want to try? Yeah, you do. It's his initials and your initials.
Mhm.
And if you haven't logged in, it's password with a capital P.
Just like that. No
Mine
dash. Mine wouldn't set the other day, wouldn't let me create a password.
And then capital P.
There should be a P and then a 1.
If you hit that little I right next to the arrow, it'll show you what you typed in.
That, yeah.
So hold it. Yeah, hold it down. So it looks like there's a P, an extra P in there.
It's just password 1.
So this doesn't, I've written that down
No,
wrong?
yes, yeah. Yep.
Yep, and now you'll have to change the password. So go ahead and enter your new password in the 2 bottom fields between 8 and 12 characters, 1 letter, 1 number.
Yeah, that's what I kept doing. Okay. So password.
That one's
One.
password 1 with a capital P in the number 1. And then your new one is the bottom 2.
So that one's password 1. Okay.
One capital letter too. One capital letter and a number.
Perfect. Okay. And then the next step is to log in to Foxfire PM. And this is the same username, and this one the password will always be password 1 with a capital P in the number 1, and I can show everybody how to change it if you want to change your own.
Has to capitalize or does it matter?
Your username is not case sensitive. Okay. So has everybody tried to log in or has at least gotten logged in, right?
No, Carrie has
I have
not
not.
logged in. Ashley has not logged
Okay,
in. And
let's-
I've logged in, but we couldn't make a password.
Okay, let's go ahead and make sure that that's done. So go ahead and log out. So if you close the door on the top right-hand side and then hit the Windows icon on the bottom left, find your name and click on it
right.
and hit sign out. And then who's going next? Ashley, you need to?
Yes.
And was it your password that wasn't taking?
It didn't take mine.
Okay, so I'm actually going to reset your password to password 1. So please don't log in yet. Okay,
And Carrie,
so now go ahead and type in your username, JWBABM. And then your password is going to be password 1 with a capital P in the number 1, and it'll ask you to change it. Okay. And then at least 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase, and 1 number. 8 to 12 characters.
Yeah. Can you see my password, Morgan?
So the first one, make sure you put password 1 in.
Yeah,
And-
right here it is. Capital P.
Yep. And no, I can't see it.
Okay. Let's do this. Does that meet all credentials? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 characters with a capital. Yeah. Okay. So that's okay. Well, we'll take that. We can mix the credentials as long as you're typing the same one twice.
Let me see if there's something.
It's probably just me, Morgan. It doesn't want me in there. Yep.
The value provided. Oops, I was going to try to read that. That's okay. Try just password 2 for right now, and I'll see if I can reset it for you.
Yeah, that's what I've been logging in with is password 2. I just keep it there. Yeah, I'll just use it. And I will.
Something not working. So hold on one sec. There's something not working about this. So what are the complexities?
JWB, ABM.
I'm gonna unlock it. Account expires. I'm going to send you a little pop-up really quick. Who's the presenter? You send request keyboard and mouse control. Will you minimize this Foxfire screen for me and see if you got a little pop-up for me to take keyboard and mouse control?
Yes.
On the bouncing flower? Awesome. Okay, do you mind if I drive for just a second and see if I can figure out what this thing's problem is? JWB, ABM.
That says AM. That's ABM.
Oh. ABM, good call. Oops. Or history requirements. Oh. It's because we were trying to use passwords that we've already tried to change it and we've reset it from. So I changed it to password 3 this time.
That's good with me.
So that's what we'll use, but that explains it. Okay, I didn't get the chance to read the bottom of that.
Okay, thank you, Morgan.
Yeah, no problem. So let's go ahead and log out, and then we'll have the last person log in.
Yeah, right there. Okay, right here. What's that?
I think it is just you.
I think so.
Golly. Okay. So let's go ahead and click on Foxfire PM. And do you want me to drive while you guys take notes, or do you want to drive? It's completely up to you.
Katrina needs to drive, I think.
Okay,
She's
sounds
going
good.
to hit me.
How about drive to show me what to do, and then we'll go from there.
Well, it's easier if you've got your hands on it. That's what we did this morning. I promise it's easier to do it you're by yourself. I mean, like to work the thing and let somebody take really, really good notes in there. I know I put you on the spot, but I promise it's easier. I know you're cussing me.
I'm not cussing you. I was strangling you. Oh my God, seriously.
You got it, Katrina.
You got this. So type JWB KMG, okay.
And then password 1 with a capital B or capital P and the number 1. This one's always password 1.
Oh yeah, I wrote that down already.
All right. So here's what we're going to cover. First and foremost, in the system, we're going to go through what's called orders, okay? So every time that a patient is checking out, whether they went to optical and purchased glasses, whether they went and saw the doctor and they have EHR charges, or they ordered contact lenses, or they came in and they literally just bought a case or lid scrub or anything. Anytime we're checking out a patient, we use an order. So let's go ahead and search. First and foremost, we'll start by searching for a patient. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do an order where a patient comes in and purchases a retail item. This could be contacts, lid scrubs, a case, cleaner, a cleaning cloth, whatever it is. So just a off the street order. Okay, so we'll go ahead and search for a patient first.
Or there. Do I know? Do you click here or there? I don't know. I think you click this little. Is that where you get?
Yep. Yeah. And let's search a Foxfire patient.
Who were they? Sorry, Ashley. Yeah, there's an Ashley. Ashley Foxfire. They're not in there.
Those aren't in there. You'll have to, Matthew Foxfire's in there.
They were in here the other day.
This is a different one.
Okay.
Perfect. So Matthew Foxfire comes in and has a retail purchase. So the very first thing we're going to do to create an order for either those contact lenses or the lid scrub or the cleaner or the case or whatever is we're going to go to the orders down at the bottom left. We're going to go to his orders section. So in the orders section there are 5 buttons. All orders is showing all the different orders that this patient has had. So this is actually one that we worked on earlier today. I can see that he has an order that's currently at the lab. So this means that one of our optical girls did an order and ordered some lenses for him. Now underneath of there are the 3 different types of orders. Now you're going to want to write these down and take notes on what this is. A quick order is the very first type of order. A quick order is an order that includes retail items or EHR charges, but nothing optical related. So it does not include lenses. It does not include frames from inventory. So it's everything else. It's EHR charges, contact lenses, cleaning cloths, lid scrubs, whatever else it is. It just is nothing optical related. No lenses, no frames.
Okay.
A frame-only order is everything that a quick order is, but it also has a frame from inventory. So 2 things could happen here. Matthew Foxfire could come in, go to optical, and Kendall sells him a pair of sunglasses. Then he checks out, and that's it. Or he comes in, he gets set up with a pair of sunglasses or a pair of frames with demo lenses, and he also purchases a case and some cleaning cloth. So it combines the 2. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. The third type of order is a quote. This includes everything that a quick order does, everything that a frame order does, but it also includes lenses. So 3 things could happen here. Well, a number of things, but some of the combinations could be Matthew comes in, he sees the doctor, he goes to optical, and he gets new frames and lenses. So he checks out at the front desk, and he has his optical order, his refraction, his exam, and maybe some contact lenses. Or he comes in, he goes straight to optical with an RX off the street, and he only orders glasses and lenses. Okay. The most common ones that you guys are going to see are quick orders and quotes. As front desk or checkout staff, quick orders will be used when a patient does not go to optical at all. They came in, they saw the doctor, they come to the front desk, they check out, they go home. Quotes will be used when the patient comes in, sees the doctor, goes to optical and orders frames and lenses or one or the other, and then comes to the front desk to check out for optical and doctor charges. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is Matthew comes in and he just wants to order or just wants to purchase a vitamin or a cleaning cloth or something retail related. He didn't see the doctor, he didn't go to optical. Okay. To add a new order, you're going to click on Patient Order. There are two screens on an order. Screen 1 is what you're looking at. This is the patient demographic information and optical. Screen 2 is your line item charges. It's also where we take payments and adjustments. So on screen 1, the very first thing we have to do is we have to add a new order. And that is where we do the blue plus sign. So if he's coming in for a retail item only, what order type do we select?
Quick order.
Perfect. Let's highlight quick order and hit the green check mark. So, as you're going to hear me say a number of times today, we always start at the top and work our way down. Let's start with the provider dropdown. That one's easy.
Right.
Diagnosis code, Jen and Kendall actually described this in a really good way. This is just a placeholder. It doesn't matter what you put in here as long as it's a valid ICD-10 code. So if you guys use that ZZ code, you can put that in. I personally always do H52.13. Okay, perfect. So that's good. Order ID, date entered, last updated in service date, you won't do anything with. Those are automatic fields that will update later down the line.
Okay.
So then we're going to go down to the patient information section. So that's the next red bar. We already pulled up Matthew Foxfire's demographic detail. We always have to do that first. So we already have his information here. The right-hand side of that particular section shows insurance. Any insurance that this patient carries shows up in this drop-down. If you are sending the information that this patient or whatever he has going into his order, if you're sending it all to the same insurance, the best thing to do is select the insurance on this screen. If he saw the doctor and he saw optical and some's going to VSP and some's going to blue and some is patient responsible, the best thing to do is just leave this at patient because we can always assign each individual line item to its own insurance. Either way, each one needs to be reviewed. Now, RX information, vision, web, and frame is not part of a quick order. So as you can see, these fields are grayed out. There's nothing you can do in here. They're all grayed out. You can click, click, click however much you want, but it's not going to let you do anything because on a quick order, we don't do anything with frames and lenses. So the only thing that we can do right now is go to page 2. You get to page 2 by clicking on the black arrow to the right. Perfect. Page 2 outlines our charges, payments, and adjustments. Today what we're learning is the charges portion. So this patient is going to get set up with, did you add contacts to Navigator yet?
I'm not
No,
sure.
we did not.
We did not? Okay. I just didn't want to say that we were going to do those if we hadn't added them yet. So let's go ahead and let's add like a cleaning cloth or a cleaning solution or something in here. So let's add charge. Yep, you got it. This is going to add a line item. So as you can see, it has date of service, provider, location. Those are all done for you. Procedure description, which we'll never do anything with. It just describes what you've selected. And then it has a procedure drop-down. Please click the procedure drop-down. This is a list of all of the different CPT codes that are available. So go in here and the very top line is a search function or a filter search line. If you know the CPT code, you would type it in under CPT code. If you're searching by description, you would type in what you're searching for under description. So go ahead and click under description and just see if there's like a vitamins or something. Or if you have one of the, didn't you add a BLEF something? Okay, there's vitamins. This one doesn't have a charge associated with it, which is fine.
Okay.
Do you know, Cindy, if you added any retail items into Navigator yet?
I I thought we had done vitamins, but we may not have.
Okay. So that's totally fine. Let's go ahead and click on vitamins. Let's just say he's getting vitamins. Now this one doesn't have a fee associated with it. We haven't built the fee schedule for it yet, which is totally fine because you can actually override the fee and change it on this screen. Before we get down there though, as we move across the right, we clearly don't need modifiers or a referring provider to send this. And it's not going to be sent to an insurance. It's patient responsible. So we're going to keep it at patient responsible. The Z code that we added up at the top is simply a placeholder. Each line item is required to have a diagnosis code, so the placeholder filters down there. Now, when the doctor sends EHR charges over, that placeholder doesn't do anything. The doctor's ICD-10 codes actually fill in those diagnosis slots. Cause date, admit date, and discharge date, very, very, very rarely used. Units 1, or however many bottles of vitamins that they have, and under fee, go ahead and put in the cost of the vitamins that we're selling to the patient.
I know charge with taxes is 22, but if what it is without tax, I have no idea.
Let's go ahead and do, we added tax in the background, but I don't actually activate tax until tomorrow with Cindy. So for right now, everything that we're going to practice is just not going to have tax on it. So you will have taxes. They're at 10%, correct?
Yes.
Yep, perfect. That's what we added this morning. So that, again, tomorrow morning is something that I'm going through how to do during our billing training. Okay? So at this point, if you click away from the line item or if you hit your tab key is what I usually do, it will update the total fee. So this patient has a $22 balance because the vitamins cost $22. Go ahead and add a few extra charges in here just so you get the idea of how to get the muscle memory of adding a charge, searching a procedure, updating a fee. So you already have that one added, so you're going to need to go to the second line that was just added.
Charge, it made you a new column, so you have to put it.
Alrighty, comes to
No, Katrina, you might want to try contacts. I want to say Tammy did put in contacts, but I don't know if she put the actual charges on there. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, she said charges for contacts were not in there yet.
Let's see. Case, contact name is Case.
Try to just random contacts.
Yes.
Thank you, Aces. See if that's like this one. So let's do. We'll just do contact case. There you go.
Okay.
Diagnosis code. Charge then $3. Case. And we're going to charge. What else can we say? We can say
Cleaning solution. That would be a cleaning cloth, glass cleaner.
there you go. Let's start selling the glass cleaner.
For $5. It's an expensive cloth. In the money business.
Trying to get some of this.
And we're going to do
Scroll way down there. Just yeah, put a stop to it. No, yeah, we're doing strictly just stuff, not.
well, that can be added on QuickWord though.
Yeah.
Just anything not. clearing solution, or some clearing solution. BP supplies, where are they?
See up under
You're saying that?
charcoal. A sun clip. So maybe optical.
You think that made it?
If it didn't charge.
You add it to drug line. You're supposed to just click away and it'll calculate. I bet that's an optical. I wonder if that's an optical thing. Because it's not.
What's the
clean.
question that you have? If what's an optical thing?
She on the
A sun clip.
whatever a
Nope.
sun clip. What letter added?
It added it for you.
Oh,
Yep, it added it. You can go ahead and try it again.
Let's see what that one is. So then, so do we need to save charges if we're finished?
So in this case, first, do we have any questions on how to add charges?
No.
Okay.
No.
Perfect. So let's go ahead and save charges. Let's go back to the demographics section. So on the left in the red.
Oh, okay, demographics, there it is.
And let's search for a different patient and add a quick order with the same, like a vitamin is fine or whatever we want to do.
So it's like patient.
My car's going off, like the alarm. That's weird. Hold on 1 second, guys. I just got notified my car alarm's going off. I have to go fix it. 1 second.
What did she tell you today? I was writing.
I haven't done a charge on the patient.
For a different
All
patient?
that's spread out so you can do anything. Just think
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To search for a different person. Just type in Foxfire and hit the green and it'll bring up all Foxfires. But then again, I don't know. Okay, so one of those. Double click. Orders.
Quick order. Okay, she doesn't have any existing orders, so we're going to add some orders.
I thought we ordered your clothes.
This quotes is just optical. I just got some quotes in here, so we're going to do
Quick orders, everything but optical. Quotes include lens. Everything.
You highlight type of order and click green check mark. Highlight type of order.
She had an existing order in here, so you clicked from there.
Yeah, just pick one of those.
So that's the first screen. And then there's Jane.
You also be taking notes, so I know where I'm supposed to be going now.
Search back.
what I click patient order, and then that takes you to screen one.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, so I'm going back, go click patient order. Patient order. Patient order. And blood lesson. What do I do? Create a new order. I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah, that's gonna take our notes. I need to figure out and you gotcha. And then the green check mark. I know the green check mark. Yeah. It's gonna take a minute back to that internet and all that goes on its own. And from here, I think you hit the green, the black. No, that goes to the second page. Right. So all that on all this is great. I would get anything on that. Yeah. That's right. Big procedure description, right? When you click the procedure, it fills in the procedure description. Extra things we sell that we don't know. And selling those chain things for $15. I'll tell you. We sell. I did. Just do C to learn. Do what? C to learn. Just number 5. What? Select for. I don't even know what it is. Okay. To go back to the yellow. Too much. Go to the yellow. Yeah.
So we used miscellaneous somewhere. Oh yeah, we can't use miscellaneous anywhere. No such thing as a miscellaneous code.
You haven't worked here long.
So you can't change anything in procedure description. You got to do it in the procedure dropdown.
Procedure. Okay. Gotcha. Now, just select this. How do you select it?
Perfect.
We have charge. I think I back in the data. Let's see charges. Okay. Now what?
Okay, so we're all good on adding quick orders, right? And adding charges to it? Perfect. So the next thing that we're going to talk about are EHR charges. So when we go through this, the next example is that, I think it was Jane Foxfire who I added it to. Jane Foxfayer comes into the office, she sees the doctor, and she checks out. So she's skipping optical altogether in the first example.
Okay.
Anytime that the patient sees the doctor and the doctor sends charges, we are going to handle those charges in a little bit of a different way. So let's go ahead, and how I'm going to show you how to do it is the easiest way. But there's really two different ways to get there. So if you click at the very top of Foxfire, there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The sixth, the marble in, is just like a manila envelope with a piece of paper coming out of it. Yep. Every single time that the doctor sends charges from the EHR, they come into this folder. So it's not just one patient. You could have 10 patients in here at a time, which I hope you never do because we'll want to keep up with it. But ultimately, this is where those charges are going to come in, and the goal is for you to attach them to an order. So the very first step, anytime that we're checking out a patient from the EHR who is not going to optical, is to click on the folder button, find the patient in the list, and double click on them. What this is going to do is it's going to load to a page that says Jane Foxfire has 2 EHR charges. That's what the little green flashy man means. Anytime you're on the demographic screen and you ever see that, it means there are EHR charges that are outstanding and are not attached to an order yet. So here's what we do. So we went to the folder, found the patient, and double-clicked. This patient happens to have 2, but they could have 1 or 5 or 8 or 3. It doesn't matter. What we're looking for is that we find the charges. The goal is, yep.
Can I ask you a quick question, and I may just be being dumb about it. When you click on the folder with the file, does everybody that has orders come up right then? So if, like, I had somebody in optical and Katrina was checking someone out, are they all going to show up right there at that time?
Everyone who has a charge from the EHR that has not been attached to an order will show up here.
That has not been attached to an order. So, so really we could have several in there at one time.
However many, yeah, so doctor sees 1 patient or 2 patients at a time at most. So they would just build up until you check them out.
Okay.
Yep. So we double clicked on the patient that we're checking out, and now what we're going to do is we are going to highlight the charges to add them to an order. To highlight the charges, you will always highlight using the gray numerical boxes on the far left-hand side. So where it says 1 and 2, you can click and drag to highlight in red both of those charges. So on the gray, can't do anything, yep, on the gray, click and drag, and there you go. You can also hold down your Shift or Control key to highlight them, so the basic Windows functions for those. Okay. Once those are highlighted, because those are the ones we want to go forward with to add to an order, you're going to right-click on the gray numerical boxes, and we need to add this to a new order. So add to, and it gives us 4 options. Existing order is something that we're going to use down the line when the patient is checking out from optical. That's tomorrow. New order means that they're going to optical. We just haven't created their optical order yet. And we've already talked about the other 2. So if this patient went and saw the doctor and is checking out, what type of an order do we add the charges to?
Quick. Would it be quick?
Quick order, yep. So we're going to select that we want to add this to a quick order. So now we're going to let the system load, and this screen should look super familiar. So now that we have our order screen pulled up, the first thing that we want to do is open up the order so we can edit it. So go ahead and select the piece of paper with the pencil and start at the top. provider and diagnosis.
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
If she's already seen the doctor, why am I having to put a diagnosis in?
Again, placeholder.
Gotcha.
Yep, so you'll kind of see how this all rolls out when we get to that section. Okay, so is there anything else that we have to do on this screen?
Everything's optical past this point.
So black area.
Okay. Now, the only difference here is that you didn't have to add anything. This came over with the charges that are built in the background. So I can see that I have my 92004 at $145 and my 92015 at $50. Starting with the top one, you have to select the insurance that you want to send this to. So this patient is all out of pocket. There's no insurance that this patient has. So for that reason, we don't have an insurance that we need to send it to.
Okay.
Now, we're going to have to pretend, we're going to use our imagination, that this patient is being sent to insurance with 0 copays and 0 out-of-pocket today. So the example we're doing now is the example of patient comes in, has insurance, like in my case, I've met my max out-of-pocket for this year, so I don't have to pay anything. Okay, so all we're doing is sending to insurance. To complete the order that requires 0 payments and adjustments, the first thing you're going to do is go down to the bottom right-hand side of the screen where it shows batch number.
Okay.
You're going to hit the little pencil to the right of batch number, and you're going to change the batch number. Now, do you guys currently use batch numbers?
No. Well,
Okay. So a batch number is ultimately going to be a way to find out who did what and when. So it's a really important piece to balancing and billing. Foxfire always recommends to do a first initial, a last initial, and the month and day. So for example, my batch number today would be MK0419 for Morgan Cooper, April 19th.
Okay.
So go ahead and enter in your batch number, and it is case sensitive. So if you were to do a batch number with uppercase and then in the afternoon do one with lowercase, you've opened 2 batches. So you always want to make sure that you stick with upper or lower and just do that the same every single time.
I wouldn't do it for you.
Morgan,
Yep.
when you're saying batch number, does that mean, is that the same thing as like a transaction number?
I'm not familiar with what you guys use as transaction numbers, so I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, well, you know, like we have our account number, and then like when the patient comes in and we check them in, it puts another number, like how many times they've, like say they coming in on their 25th visit, it'll have the account number and then it'll have like .25.
Oh, no. This is not patient specific. This is user specific.
Okay, so we always have to put something in that batch number to let
So
everybody
that-
know who it is.
Signing it.
So ultimately, the goal here is to say that this person has done this order. So if you're going through at the end of the day and you're trying to balance, and you can see that Morgan is off by $10, it's up to Morgan to figure out, well, where is the $10 missing? Did we forget to add it in a payment? Did we, where are we off by $10? So you know who entered the order so that we can make sure we know who is responsible for whether something is off or on or looks like so-and-so completed this order or whatever the case is.
So it's like us personalizing it and saying we did it. It's our signature.
Mm-hmm. Now so if you're logged into a computer and you enter your batch number and hit the green check mark to save it, go ahead and hit that green check mark. The next time we do an order, you're going to know that you don't have to do that every time. It'll save in there. But the next time you log in, so if you log out and log back in, you'll just have to change it that time. So like for me, if I log in the morning and I'm doing orders and checkout all day long and I never log out, I only have to do it once in the morning and it sticks. But tomorrow when I log back in, I'm going to have to change it to KG0420. So it goes by day. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, awesome. So now that we have that, the next thing we do is the very last step is to save and send charges to Navigator. So before we do that, let me just explain what we're doing. So go ahead and hit the red X on that for me, please. Okay, so what we're going to do here is anytime that you're completely done with an order, you save and send charges. Once these charges, payments, and adjustments have been sent to Navigator, there's nothing else that you can do with them in PM. So if I hit save and send and I should have taken a payment, that payment now has to be taken in Navigator. Once save and send is hit, this order is completely done in PM. So it should be the very, very, very last step that you do. Okay, so for some reason, a diagnosis code, I don't know if it got removed on accident or something here, but I'm just going to put in H52.13 because that's the one I think I used. But okay, so in this case, patient comes in, they have insurance, and they are not responsible to pay anything out of pocket today. We just need to send the claim off to insurance. All you have to do is update your batch and hit save and send charges. This will pop up and say charges were sent for the order, and now you can see that you don't have the ability to edit anything in here. These are now sent over to your Navigator system, where at the end of the day we pull a report to balance to make sure that every patient has a charge and your payments journal matches the number of checks and cash and credit card receipts that you have. So we're done with it.
I have a question.
Sure.
Say you've got 4 family members that come in together.
Mm-hmm.
They all want to check out together. How, I mean, you're going to do them individually. How do you, how would you handle that?
So when you have a family that comes in, you would still have to do each patient individually because they're each their own orders. But let's say they're making one payment, you would just allocate it among the items, which we go through tomorrow. Payments are tomorrow. So you won't be able to put like all 5 patients onto one order. Each patient has their own order.
Okay, I guess I'm just stupid, but I'm still stuck on this batch number thing.
Okay.
I don't quite grasp that because you can put in your initials and numbers, but anybody can put in anything in there?
Yep.
So say I'm in the computer system trying to do something and I put Katrina's stuff in there. That's not going to show that I did it. It's going to show that Katrina did it.
Whoever's batch is what will show up on the line item ticket itself.
But if Katrina signed into the computer, I don't, is that what you're asking, Cindy?
Yeah, I'm just not grasping it. I don't understand it.
It's just like initialing the transaction, right?
Yep. So think about it like at a bank. There are 5 tellers. At the end of the day, if the bank needs to put, and I'm just going to use a ridiculously small number, $100 in the vault, because that's what they got, and Susie's responsible, Susie says that she has 35, and Billy says that he has this, and down the line, at the end of the day, every single person should add up to $100, which is the total amount that was received. So you have $100 in cash in your hand, and you have 3 people that have batches who took money today. Those have to balance before you can close your day. So each person will assign themselves a batch during the day, which is their initials and the date. Yep. You should be logged into your own, because if you're working the order, the system is keeping track of every click and who does it. So I shouldn't be logged into anyone else's in Foxfire PM. I should be logged into my own with my own batch number when I process it.
Okay, so if I'm logged in and I do some stuff and I go to put in a batch number, if I say, just for instance, I put in Katrina's initials and the date, you're going to know that that's not correct?
No, you're not going to put in someone else's batch number.
Let's
You're
just
gonna-
say she's mad that day and wants to do that. Could she?
Yeah,
And
you can
would
put
we
in,
know that's what happened?
yeah, just like with anything, you can put in something else or someone else's information. But that person whose batch it is responsible, like when you're balancing, that's what you're looking at is the batches. If you
Okay,
need
let me
to
ask you
compare
a
it to exactly who did it, there is a little button here at the top which has order history. I can see that this user
did.
was the person who actually did it.
Okay. So if Cindy was on her log on, but she batched out one in my initials, it would show that Cindy did it, but the charges
It
would
would
show
show
up under
who
me.
was logged on and who did the batch. It wouldn't match.
But there's nothing at the end of the day that's showing the user that was logged on. This is just simply in this system. So where this might come up is if you put in her batch number and at the end of the day they don't balance and you go to her and say, hey, do you know where this $6.82 is? And she's like, I didn't work up that patient. Then we have a whole different staff issue on our hands. Then we would come in here and say, okay, well, this is the user that was actually in it and they use someone else's batch number, and that's a whole different issue outside of what I can help with. Yep.
So basically, like during a day, I mean, especially if we're really busy, optical, I mean, Jennifer and Kendall sometimes collect their own money. Cindy works up front sometimes. Ashley works up front. So whoever collects that money, they're going to put, like, you're going to have Ashley with AM in the date, or Carrie with CM in the date, or KM in the date. Okay. Sorry, Carrie. Cousin Carrie.
Can you add a middle initial?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah,
As
Kendall
long
and
as
I have
the batch number is ultimately what you want it to do. That's kind of what I was saying before. Foxfire recommends initials and a date. But there are
Okay.
some clinics that do different batch numbers entirely. There are some that don't do it by individual. They do it by this is the AM batch and this is the PM batch. It's up to you how you want to batch them out and how you want to balance. What my billers require of our billing clients is the initial and the date. So we know who did it, when they did it, and when we can post initialize and run billing and balance and things like that.
Okay.
So how are you guys balancing right now and indicating so-and-so was responsible for this $100 payment or took this $100 payment?
We have ID codes.
Okay. So you could kind of use something like that with ID codes. I like to have the date on it because then if at the end of the day we're billing, let's say I don't get to billing today, I have to do my today's billing tomorrow. I know the batches from the 19th are the ones that I want to send. I know I don't want to send any from the 20th because they haven't been balanced yet. So I like the dates on there because I can specify and say these ticket items are from this batch. Because we bill by batch. What other questions do you have on that?
I think we can move forward.
Okay, sounds good. So let's go ahead then and let's search for the next patient to check out. So I don't remember the names of who I did, so let's go ahead and just jump in and see what other patients are ready. So actually, remember, if we're checking out, we don't need to search for a patient. Where can we go to see all the patients that have pending EHR charges that are coming to check out? There we go. So Matthew and Michael are ready with EHR charges that doctor sent. Doesn't matter to me who you choose if you want to go ahead and select one of them. Perfect. So we're going to do Matthew Foxfire. So Matthew has 3 different charges that are in here. So let's go ahead and select them and add them to a quick order.
And then right click. Right.
Perfect. So how do we edit the order?
Pencil and paper.
Yep, perfect. Hit the pencil and paper. There you go. Perfect. Let's go ahead and assign to insurance as the next step. And let's say that this patient also had like a vitamin or a lid scrub or some type of a retail item as well. Okay.
These are the easiest ones to find, so you want some cleaner. It's complicated. So that's going to be patient responsibility for fraction because Viva's going to cover that. It's going to be Viva. Okay.
And then you added this guy down here.
Or you can delete it.
Yeah, so choose it. If you can add something or delete it. Remove.
Okay.
Morgan, I do have a question. I see
Sure.
her batch number now is, you said it was case sensitive, correct?
Right.
Okay, so that, it just populated capital letters.
Okay, I can ask about that. Now we're not going to save and send anymore because I really want to practice with some of these that we're already doing. So when you're done with the order, go ahead and just hit save charges.
Okay, so since she entered in her batch number the one time, that's how it automatically will populate it for the rest of the day, correct?
For the rest of the login session. If
Okay.
she logs
okay.
out and logs in at a different computer, she'll have to re-enter it.
And make sure she uses the same thing because she'll create a different batch if not, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, let's go ahead and do one more patient with that.
Oh, sorry, do what?
We're going to check out one more patient that same way. So just getting
Okay.
just getting our practice in.
Charges. All right, so once I save this, I mean, it's good to go. Right?
Yep,
So
then
go
you-
back.
So these are all the different people here.
So look at this. I'm going to do the same because it's just easier. So insurance life dates, it's going to be all the patients. And this patient looks toward something, so we're going to add some charges. It's just like 70% of your order right there. So he doesn't like coming back all the time, so he's going to get 3 bottles, not 15.
That's actually on the photo. You did it right there. Yes, there.
Okay.
I don't send it anywhere. And everybody else in here.
Okay, so any questions on how to add those into a quick order? Is that part pretty much good to go for everybody?
I think so.
Okay, awesome. So let's go ahead and take it a step further. Now we have these orders that we have charges on, and we need to learn how to basically add our payments and adjustments to them. So let's go ahead and pull up, we're going to learn kind of a couple things in here. Rather than doing it at the time, I'm going to show you how to search for an order and pull it back up. So let's search for Matthew Foxfire and pull up the order that we just created for him. So to do that, we're going to go to the patient demographics, and we're going to search for Matthew Foxfire.
There's Michael. Can't do that. I don't think you can do that.
Okay. So now that we have Matthew Foxfire pulled up, let's go to the orders section of his demographic. And let's search for all orders, or we can search and view just the quick orders by selecting the quick order button. Okay, we're going to find the order that we just created. So let's look at a couple of things here. He has 4 orders. One is at lab, one is a quick order. I can see that this charge amount is $50. One is a quote that is $0. So this to me looks like maybe the doctor sent another quote over from the EHR. And one is another quick order. This one is for $320. One of the good things to learn here is what this column is for. Billed. Billed is yes if we've hit the save and send charges button, and no if we haven't. So one of the things that we'll talk about when we get into the end of the day and balancing and so on is you might say, okay, well, I'm missing charges for Matthew Foxfire. Well, if we never hit save and send, there's no way that we can bill for them. So that's why we wouldn't balance. So let's go ahead and double click on the, let's just do the $50 one for right now. Okay, let's go ahead and open up the order. So we edit it, and let's go to that charges screen. And this patient has a $50 balance for a number of different line items. So we have vitamins, contact cases, glass cleaner, and solution. So what we're going to do is now we're going to learn how to take a payment. This first one's going to be pretty cut and dry. So the first thing we're going to do is click on the payments button. The payments button will bring up a payment screen. On the payment screen here, we are going to always start from the top and work our way down. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to indicate the total amount of payment that we're paying in the top left-hand side of the screen. So if you want to pay off, let's just pay off the whole 50 and make it easy. Okay, then we're going to move down. So then we see that there's a date, which is today's date. That's the date of the payment. The type. This is either a payment or an adjustment. If the patient is making a payment toward the balance, we select payment. If you're applying a discount or adjusting off anything, that's an adjustment. And we're actually going to flip back over to the optical team when we do that so that they can kind of do their portion too. For right now, let's just worry about the payment option. And then go ahead and click the code drop-down. These are the payment codes that are built into your system. If you take additional payment codes, you'll want to jot them down. Those need to get added into Navigator.
So now we can take a break.
Now, for right now in our process of training, please do not select the credit card options because those are actually tied to your credit card machine, and if we select them, it's going to make us swipe something before we can move forward. So we're not actually going to do that because we don't have anything to swipe and we don't have the credit card machines hooked up to the system yet. So we're going to use cash and check for right now. Okay. If you want to reference something, you would just enter in a reference number in that field. Otherwise, on the right-hand side is the amount of the total that we're applying. Now, before you do anything in here, let me just kind of describe the difference between these two fields. If I'm taking a full $50 payment and the entire $50 payment is being applied to all the line items, because in this case they all total 50, I would type in 50 here and select all my line items. But if I was taking a total of $50, whoops, if I was taking a total of $50 and 25 of it was a copay and 25 of it was for the cleaner, I would have to do those in separate chunks to apply them to separate line items. So I'm going to show you what that means, but I just wanted to explain the difference. So right now, $50 is the total of all 4 of the charges. So type in 50. And now we're telling the system which line items we're applying the payment to. So you have 2 options. You can manually select them all, or you can just hit apply to all items on the left-hand side. Once you have them all selected, hit apply amount. What that did is it took your $50 payment and it applied the appropriate total amount to each of the line items, paying them down to $0. Does everybody see how that looks?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So all we need to do here is hit the Save and Exit button on the top right-hand side, and now we're going to print a receipt. So in the top middle of the screen is a little printer icon button there. Right here.
Okay, right there.
Yep.
That prints a receipt.
Well, first it's going to pull up with a box that's going to ask you what you want to print. There are 2 options. So if you want to go ahead, there we go. Order quote receipt is your standard receipt. RX Lab Details is what Optical will use. So we're going to click Order Quote Receipt and hit the green check mark. This is going to pull the receipt up on the screen so that we can look at it. This is what will allow you to print it to your actual printer. So if you want to maximize that, you'll see what this receipt looks like. Yep. Any questions on adding a total payment amount or printing a receipt?
I think so.
Okay. Let's go ahead and go to the payments button.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Sure.
I know a lot of times, say you give the total to the patient several times, and then maybe their card doesn't work, like it's declined, and they say, well, I'm going to have to come back tomorrow. What do you do then? If you've already made it to that point, to the payment screen.
So that's what I'm going to show you next, is how to delete the payment. Yeah, that's okay. Now, if the card is declined, it won't add a payment to the account.
Okay.
So it just declines out and you never added a payment. But
Okay.
in this case, let's say that you went through and you added cash and they were like, you know what, never mind, can I write a check instead?
Okay.
Go ahead and click on the payments button. Now the payments that you applied already are down at the bottom. So do you see the 4 line items for the payments buttons down at the bottom?
Yes.
You can actually delete each of those line items. So highlight one, and just to the top right of that section, there's a little red X. Yep, and it just says, are you sure you want to delete? And you can do that for each of them. So go ahead and delete all 4 of those for me. Perfect. So now you have them deleted, and now you can start over. So let's just say that this patient wants to pay $42 today, only for the vitamins and the solution. So again, we always start at the top of the screen. Always, always, always. Okay. Perfect. So they're going to pay $42 today for those 2 line items, and they're going to pay with a check.
$42 there.
Okay. Perfect. Good. Awesome. So you did great. Does anybody have questions on what we just did there?
No.
Okay. Let's delete those payments, and we're going to take it a step further. I'm just going to kind of keep making it more and more difficult. Now this time they're going to pay the full $50, but they're going to pay cash for the $8 and a check for the $42. So at the top, let's go ahead and close the payment window. So let's start all the way over. So on the right-hand side, hit close payment window.
Awesome.
And then let's start all at the beginning to hit the payments button. So now we're going to pay a total of $50, but again, $8 is going to be cash, $42 is going to be with a check. Perfect.
Cash payment first. How much did you tell me cash? 8. You get to select which one you do. What? You get to select at least one charge to a yeah. All right, so that's what I can do.
Perfect.
Custom check. Good. Yeah. That's going to be 42.
Good. I'm so excited that you figured that out. Sometimes that's really tough for folks. That's perfect. Let's hit save and exit and print a receipt for this guy. Perfect.
Hey, Morgan,
Yeah.
is that exactly how the receipt's going to look on our end?
Yep.
Okay, did he want that Bedsole Eye Care up there? 'Cause
Oh,
I'm pretty sure he just wants James W. Bedsole
okay. Yeah,
Incorporated.
I can change that. Sure.
Okay.
Give me 1 second to update it. Admin. Oops, that's not what I wanted. You guys can actually go ahead and close out of this, and let's go ahead and search for another order. So let's go ahead and let's save charges on this order.
You don't go there, no, you don't go there.
Do you want it to say Dr. James W. Bedsole Eye Care, or what do you want it to say?
He normally just wants it to say James W. Bedsole Incorporated.
Just
Inc.
INC in Inc? Okay.
Correct.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to make sure of, so I'll do that. Dr. James W. Bedsole Inc. Dr. Dr. James W. Bidsell, Inc. Saved. When we print it on the next one, we'll make sure that that sticks, but I did go ahead and change it.
Okay, thanks.
See if all the orders, the ones to go in there and check out, that they're usually here.
What can I help with?
We're just looking.
Oh, okay. Let me know if you need anything from me.
Patient processing.
So on this one, let's take a look really quick. There's one quick order that's been billed and one that has not been billed. We can't do anything with the one that says yes billed because we've already sent it to Navigator. So we can edit the one that has no as billed.
$61 he's going to pay. So ask you so I have a question, see if you understand this. Okay. So you know how sometimes you get back when you have like or maybe so you have to certain patient and select their charges. Is that what you have to do? I think so. So you like you got Amy and Julie and Susie, you will have to go in certain patient, search for Amy.
I think all of those
Are
will be on this. All
Right.
of her people
I
will be
was
in like
thinking
that
like when
queue.
there's like 4 people, because like yesterday I got a hearing and he was saying is Katrina doing okay? And I would kind of sit there and talk to him really smart and then we got back to me. I think you're super fast as you go.
Mhm.
Because sometimes I'm like,
What now? What now? I don't know.
my brain. I like how it says cash payment or check because I don't think the other one says that. It doesn't say the form of
Well,
payment.
until it says
Or it
payment
says
tag. and
Payment
people don't
tag.
know what the heck that is.
So
It's like,
yeah. And I'll get right now. So
pass out stuff for taxes. I'm like, what does this
So
say?
it will say like Visa, MasterCard.
Yeah.
So payment tag.
We'll have to add Care Credit on here.
And take all American Express.
Might as well because we don't use it.
All right. So do that one.
Okay.
So I
Once you've taken the payments, if you want to go ahead and do the save and send charges just to get those kind of out of our queue and into Navigators to say that you're fully done, that's perfect. Yep, awesome.
Yeah, I was like, well, okay, why didn't that go away? He's already paid for it. Okay, so it still shows up on your screen though, right?
Yep, this is just the charges screen. So yeah, you're still going to see, but up in the top right, it'll show you did 25 of cash and 36 of check.
Oh, okay.
Yep, absolutely.
So when there's 4 people waiting to check out, I can say, oh yeah, I've already got his money.
Okay. So let's go ahead and, so we know how to add them to a quick order. We know how to take payments. Let's take about a 15-minute break or so and come back. And when we come back, we're actually going to do how to place adjustments and payments. And then when we pick up tomorrow afternoon, we're going to go through a couple other things. We're going to go through check-in, which is basically just a review of what we've done in demographics and then how to sign the template. And then we're going to just show you how to connect an EHR charge to an optical order so that you combine them and they're not checking 2 separate things out. So I have, for time, about just before 3:15. Let's go ahead and come back at 3:30 and we will continue the process at that time. Okay. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, sounds good. I will talk to you in about 15 minutes. PM, I'm actually going to have you do the adjustments. So we already did payments, and now we're going to do adjustments because it was something that Jen brought up to me earlier today. They're the same regardless of if you're in optical or if you're at the front desk for checkout. So I'm going to have her go through and we're going to look at the adjustments and how to do them. I don't know that all of your adjustments have been added into Navigator, so this may be an opportunity for us to make a list of things that need to be added. So the first thing I'm going to have you do when you get logged in there is go ahead and search for one of the patients where we did one of those at lab orders on.
Log out. That's our screen.
Okay, and you want me to look for one that we've got something on?
Yeah, if you want to go in and do, let's try Jane Foxfire. Let's search for one of her orders.
On their stuff, we should be able to see. That's what I'm saying, but we couldn't.
Okay,
So where do we find patient order? So this right here is for checkout. Checkout is going to use this folder to find charges that have not yet been attached. So let's search for the patient.
Oh, yeah. Is that KMG? KMG? Let's check in. Yeah. You have to get all back into the thing.
you just want me to pick one?
Go ahead and do the at lab order. Let's edit it, go to the second screen and click on payments. And I want you to go ahead and just do an adjustment on that frame. So they're done the same way payments are, but instead of payment, we're going to select adjustment.
Hey, Morgan.
Yeah?
This is Carrie and Ashley and Katrina. We don't see any of the activity that y'all are doing. I don't know.
Minimize your Foxfire and just open up your GoToMeeting, and then you'll see her screen.
want me to do an adjustment?
Yes.
So should we go?
Can I just pick an amount? What do you want? Oh. Did I put the amount of the adjustment in? I guess is what I'm asking.
Yep, it's the same thing as a payment, but instead of payment, we're doing adjustment. So if you're adjusting off a certain amount, you'll put the amount at the top, select adjustment, and then the code. Yep, perfect.
I just wasn't sure which one I was supposed to be doing. Adjustment on frame. So we'll build something in here to say why.
Yeah, make a list of the ones you need. Let's take a minute to do that now while it's fresh in our mind. And then that way I can help Cindy with that tomorrow.
So for adjustments, we would need 20% frame, 50% second pair, some $50 sunglass. Oh, I have to word it different.
Is this where you would put like gift certificates and stuff like that?
Yeah, it says that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. My screen's so small I can't hardly tell.
Okay. So I'm just going to pick gift certificate. Y'all quit laughing at me. A file mail, baby. It's a little tight. Like what? You're putting your mail. You have to enter your amount there. Okay, you select. You're going to do it on the frame. Okay, and then do your comment. Now, can I do another payment here? What can I do with the payment for the rest?
So so go ahead and put the amount of the adjustment again. Okay, you have it down there. So now you can just print your receipt or you can take a payment.
Save and exit. I'll print where.
Yep, and then save and exit, and then go ahead and hit that printer button just so we can see how they show up for you. And then if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the adjustment. So in each line item, you can see, okay, here's the amount they paid, and then on the next column, it shows adjustment on that frame. So if you look at the frame across it, it'll show 250, payment was 200, adjustment 50, and then open 0, and then your cash and then gift certificate. But of course, you'd have like your second pair discount or whatever other type of adjustment that you take it off.
That's going to be so much easier for patients to read.
One of the things, though, that I do want to touch base on is that just making sure you guys do not adjust off the VSP or what isn't patient responsible. So, for example, if a patient has VSP and 200 of it is their responsibility, we don't adjust VSP's portion off. You guys understand that, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. The last clinic that I trained, they did that and it caught me off guard, so I have to say it out loud going forward. We still bill the whole amount to VSP. We never adjust it off until we get the EOB. These adjustments would be for like promotions or coupons or the family and friends discount or gift certificates, things like that, those types of adjustments, not insurance adjustments. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions on how that one was? I think otherwise it's just a matter of adding the adjustments in there.
You would do that in the navigator section?
Yeah, you do that under the maintenance. I think it's maintenance, occasional, transactions.
Okay.
Okay. So with that being said, the best thing to do now is going to be going through and just practicing. The idea here, and I know this kind of is going to sound silly when I say it out loud, but role playing is the best way to become successful in the system. So someone come in or call and say, hey, I'm a new patient, I need to make an appointment. Make them as a new patient, build them, put them on the calendar. Go through and create a new optical order for them, or check out and say they're actually checking out some retail items. Go through and do that and take the time to be hands-on in here. The more hands-on you are and the more that you practice, the easier and more successful this will come for you when you go live. If you don't do any hands-on and go live is the first time you're actually doing anything, we're going to struggle. So it's really important to utilize the time that you have to go through and practice with all of that. Think about all the different combinations of things you might see. Tomorrow we're actually going to combine them. So a patient goes to optical and they check out with EHR charges. We haven't learned how to combine that yet. That's all part of tomorrow. We're also going to go through some end of day processes as well. So that'll be tomorrow afternoon, and then tomorrow morning is going to be mostly the billing side of it. So that'll be a lot with Cindy. Okay. What questions do you have for me?
I don't think I have any.
All right. Well,
Okay, practicing.
sounds good. Well, call me if you need anything. I'm here for another hour today. And then just a reminder so that everybody knows, I do get in on April 30th. That's a Sunday afternoon. So we'll kind of figure out a time if we want to go through things then as well. And then I will be there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and for most of the day on Friday before I fly out again.
Okay.
Okay.
We will be here on Sunday. So
Yeah.
Tammy, Cindy.
Oh, cool. Okay. I fly into